grind hard to get ahead. You trying to go backwards.
Feelings from the past, pray the Lord block it all out.
What's up? It's your boy, Kevintooturnt, this shit. Hey man, say man, we are lit thing on the man. Turn up. On this motherfucking YouTube shit, man. Today, hey man, I been on this shit, man. Akademiks going at Megan Thee Stallion, man. You know how we always be on Megan Thee Stallion ass, man. Megan, bring your duck ass here, man. I was on her duck ass anytime we can, bruh. You know, hot girl summer, them hot girls be out here giving out the, going crazy, you dig? Going crazy out in that bitch, for real. You know what I'm saying? But, I don't really like about them is how they be trying to downplay us. So you know, when you get a hot girl and they get it out the kitty, you gotta punch that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But today, Akademiks went ham on Megan Thee Stallion, bro. And we finna see it from a different perspective. But, nigga, bro, the shit was crazy, man. We finna watch it again. Let's go.
What's poppin', y'all? There was a court moment, I guess you could say, that was going on yesterday.
It's crazy,
when it came
man.
to the Tory Lanez and Megan situation. What happened is that it ended up getting pushed back.
We
to
don't even know
April
if it's true,
5th,
though.
And the people that requested it be pushed back were Tory Lanez lawyers. Akademiks tweeted before the court had started and said, breaking, it was revealed in court a few moments ago that Tory Lanez DNA was not found on the weapon in the Meg Thee Stallion case.
Bruh, if Tory Lanez did not do
shortly
it,
after.
I don't think he did it.
It caused a lot of people to talk
Megan
because
Stallion
usually
finna be
Akademiks, as
called
much as
the
people may
fuck out.
like or dislike him, I think it's disingenuous when people say that he's a liar
Megan Thee
or he's put
Stallion
out
finna get
false
called the
information
fuck
before.
out,
He's
man.
never really done that, or it hasn't been proven if he has done that.
He always come with
But
receipts.
what happened was that Megan Thee Stallion started going on her Instagram stories
Why
and
pretty
saying
girl,
the
she look
following,
better without
court
makeup
ain't even
and
started,
fuck
so
no.
why already to start lying?
Man.
I know
Like
some of y'all
that,
blogs
bitch,
on
fuck
payroll,
no.
but please don't get sued trying to create a hate campaign. Be a real journalist and post facts. And to my haters,
Bruh, this is
keep
stupid.
making yourself look stupid. I don't care. Y'all got breaking
Megan, all
news
my little
15
stupid
minutes
man
before
was you,
court
bruh.
started and nobody has even been called in yet. Y'all trying to win a social media campaign. This is my real life. Y'all trying to get retweets spreading false narratives at I am Akademiks.
Bruh, nobody believes
Why are
you
you
got
lying?
shot in your
What
foot.
did you gain? And then she proceeded to say, what's even more effed up is this stuff is all public record and nobody even cares to read. Only thing that happened in court today was it got pushed back to April 5th. But y'all will get a lie trending. Imagine how I feel, reliving this stuff every day publicly. It
Okay.
hurts. I'm so tired. Big Ak, little boy, and this is, I'm going to get into this later, but I think Megan Thee Stallion needs to, and I don't think she ever will, understand how to turn it on and turn it off. And I'm going to get into details about what I mean by this exactly. But just look at this previous story and then this next story. Big Ak, little boy, please. Why would you post there was no DNA found, but now saying it's inconclusive?
she went on this
How are
whole
you
rant
specifically
right
able
here.
to see documents before they come out in court? What you're saying is his lawyer sharing evidence with bloggers? Got it. Take your big ass on someone. Then
Bruh, they
Akademiks
tried it.
proceeded to go on his live stream
Bruh,
and throw a lot of
he
insults at
went
Megan Thee Stallion. A lot of it
dummy.
is just for entertainment purposes, and I don't feel important to get into that. But the more
If you-
important
if you
information
chair, you chair.
is
That
Akademiks
shit was
alluded to the fact that
crazy.
he saw, was able to acquire,
on her
came
ass.
across what was presented in court, which was DNA that was inconclusive. And he admittedly said that he tried to make it more understandable by saying DNA was not found. DNA not found and DNA inconclusive are two different things. But the point is that that wouldn't be able to be presented as evidence
think inclusive
because
mean
it's
it's not the
inconclusive.
same.
And you have to prove Tory Lanez did it beyond a reasonable doubt. And this is the state versus Tory Lanez. It's not like Megan Thee Stallion sued him or Megan Thee Stallion is in court against him. She's just the alleged victim in this case, and
Bruh.
California decided to pursue these charges. What Tory Lanez did was
Yeah, like she had her
throw
pinky toe shot
somewhat
off or some
subliminal
shit.
tweets because he can't really talk much, and he says, you can't buy and tweet your way out of this one. Not today.
Damn.
Good D had me effing 2 best friends, and I got caught. That's what I apologize for. It's sick how you spun
Hitting
it,
the
though.
whole crew.
And this is in reference to when Megan Thee Stallion posted
She
and
mad 'cause
deleted a quick picture
he was
on
hitting
Instagram
the whole
where
crew.
it was, we've seen it before, but it was the text conversation where Tory Lanez was
But found
apologizing
out.
to her, and it
She
makes
got- she
it
finessed
seem
the
that,
fucking
oh, hey,
female.
Tory
That
Lanez
bitch
is
right
guilty
here,
because he's
bruh.
apologizing. But what Tory Lanez is alleging is that I was apologizing for being with both of them at the same time while neither of them knew about it, which I don't think Tory Lanez was sorry about that at all, honestly.
At all, bitch.
And it's just foul for him to do that, and it's also foul because allegedly Megan Thee Stallion knew that he was with her
Come
friend.
on, man. Come
But
on. It's
Tory
always
Lanez
a
continued
plot.
to
It's
tweet
always a
today,
game
and
behind
he
the
said,
game. Come on,
fake news
stop
alert in response to this tweet. This was the initial tweet. Any reports of Tory Lanez DNA not being found on the weapon in the Megan Thee Stallion case are false. Today's pretrial hearing was just postponed to April 5th, and that fake news tweet was sent out before the court started. This was proven wrong by this other journalist by the name of Nancy Dillon. She said that she's trying to acquire these documents. So it's kind of impressive that Akademiks was able to acquire these things, but to be honest, how do you think Akademiks
Amen,
was
say
able to
amen.
do that? Either Tory Lanez or Tory Lanez's lawyer had to give it to him, or the DA had to show it to him. DA's not going to show it to him. They have to show it to the lawyers so the lawyers know what is going to be presented against their client. So then that leaves a handful of people that
We
are
don't
going
know what
to show
happened.
it to Akademiks. And why would they show it to him? Because they believe that he's a media outlet that'll actually report on it. And
And he did.
will it look favorable in Tory Lanez's case? Yes,
Yes, it
although
did.
it still is the truth.
It is the truth.
So this lady said the precise nature, because this lady first said there was zero mention of DNA at the Tory Lanez hearing today. The report that Tory's lawyer told court DNA results were pleasing to his side is totally fabricated. Two
Damn.
sources tell Rolling Stone. I'm about to receive the transcript. So she said this was totally fabricated, and then later on, she says, I have the transcript, and this is what Tory Lanez's attorney said. We're in the process of actually retaining an expert with respect to DNA. It's our hope that we'll be able to review and confirm the LAPD's analysis, which from our standpoint was favorable. So she said there was no mention of DNA, and then now she's saying there is mention of DNA. So Akademiks, at the end of the day, was not lying.
Yeah.
The precise nature of the
wasn't
LAPD
Tory's
analysis
DNA,
and its
but
results were
somebody's
not
DNA.
disclosed or described. There's a discovery protective order on the case, so it's not public. So she wasn't able to acquire it, but if you get the discovery, if you see the papers, then you know what's on it, and you know if it's favorable or not, which is what Akademiks likely ended up with. And Tory Lanez even said it
know
himself,
who DNA it is.
and he said, how are they false if I'm looking at them? And then he also tweeted out, they used this narrative to separate black women from black men. This is such an interesting narrative for Tory Lanez to
Crazy,
take,
man.
because funny
Can't
enough,
never get along with this bullshit.
2 years ago, I think, I said this would probably be the smart narrative with him to run with. They made it so
Yeah,
the protection
pinky
of a
toe
black woman
braids.
suddenly meant the
Man, it's
unprotected
the end
of
of
a
the
black
world.
man.
Come on,
Funny
bro.
because it was right when the first time they were all somewhat standing together for the same cause. They lied to someone I thought was my friend. They coerced her into digging a hole that's now going to look crazy to the whole community she riled up. She's not at fault, they are. And it's sad because they truly don't care what happens to her when it's all said and done. I think Megan Thee Stallion has an issue with playing the
duck ass.
victim role. For instance, when I said turning it on and turning it off,
Bamboo
Nicki
stick head ass.
Minaj did an excellent job at portraying herself as the victim of the industry. She
I guess
said,
Nicki
no, she was
Minaj,
getting blackballed. Cardi B this. If you guys remember,
I
some
don't think
years
Nicki
ago.
Minaj like Megan Thee
Meanwhile,
Stallion
that
no
wasn't
more.
the case, and Nicki Minaj was the one bullying people, getting people fired, allegedly, a bunch of other things. So she was really the villain in the scenario, or for most of her career. But when she played the victim, it's very believable. You know, she gets really quiet and she's like, yeah, you know, these people are doing this to me, I can't do this, etc. She's not going around and insulting people or being abrasive when she's playing the victim role. Megan Thee Stallion, on the other hand,
smart thing,
when
not
she
to get the jab.
wanted to play this victim role,
Hey,
whether or not
she's smart.
she
She was
is
like
the
the only
actual
one
victim,
out the people
we don't
really
know.
saying
But
something.
we're taking it under the impression of you're you've got to play the role. Even if you did get shot and you act like this, it makes it less believable for people. So she's saying, you shot me. She's being really aggressive. And then she's insulting people like Akademiks. I think
my girl,
her
you
approach
gotta take
to
that
this
hood off.
could
You
have been one
testifying.
of
You
a
going-
victim.
you
Saying,
going
for
putting
example,
everything
like,
online.
oh, I don't
You
know
gotta
why
put that hood
Akademiks
down,
was
girl.
doing this. You know, shed a couple of tears.
Gotta put that
Speak
hood up, girl.
softly. These are things that I'm surprised
Get
she
your
doesn't
little-
do because
wear your little dress.
it's 101. Playing
Get your
victim
little-
101.
little-
She
little
would get away
bows
with
on,
it too.
you know what I'm
People would be
saying?
more
Don't-
likely
don't
to
put the
say,
hood on
damn,
now.
you know, it's kind of foul that Akademiks went at her on this live stream like he did. He wouldn't be able to do that if she had played the victim role properly, which, like I said, an individual like Nicki Minaj knows how to do. And when she starts to say stuff like, oh, I know you blogs are on payroll, and stuff like, oh, you guys are trying to create this narrative and spread this false narrative, the only individual
But
that's
nobody
putting
believe
this
that
out
she got
is
shot in her
Akademiks.
foot.
So
She was
to
good.
think
She was
that
okay to, like, the
there's
next few
a
days.
mass
She was
narrative
good
going
walking
around
and doing what
to
she
make
was
Megan Thee
doing.
Stallion look bad
Bro, nobody
is
believe
kind
that.
of comes across like
on,
that's
man.
what you guys are doing. Because you saw several journalists
believe that shit?
say that there was no DNA evidence trying to discredit what Akademiks said. And it came out later that day. What happened was DNA was talked about and there was a discovery.
Yeah,
and then
hey,
when
she
she
look good in
starts
that makeup.
getting
I ain't gonna
aggressive and
kiss
saying,
the cap.
oh,
She
big
look-
ass,
now she
little
look
boy,
good.
please,
I ain't
you know,
gonna
how
kiss
are
the
you
cap.
able to see
That
stuff
rough makeup?
before,
Nah, she might need to put that-
these people are
they-
sharing
I don't know who been
evidence?
saying that
That's
shit,
trying
man.
to get people in trouble. So you're coming from an aggressive standpoint again, instead of just playing the victim or just not saying anything at all. Nothing needs to be said anymore. Court is going to proceed as it is. And I think every time Megan Thee Stallion feels like she's losing grip of public opinion, then she comes out and says something.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of
that-
people
yeah,
that
that makeup,
say they don't care
she
about
gotta
this
put that
anymore,
makeup on, right?
which is fair.
Yeah.
You don't need to care. You shouldn't care. But I think
Some
the
girls
important
make it
part
work.
about
I
this
ain't
is
gonna
that
cap. You
someone
dig?
lost their career
Some can't,
over this.
feel me?
So whether or not what comes out of this is Tory Lanez being innocent or some lies happening or some other story that would paint Megan Thee Stallion in a different light, Tory Lanez was blackballed immediately
Off the
from
bat.
streaming
They
services,
trying to end
from
that nigga.
playlists of streaming services that he wasn't able to get. Also, on top of that, he had just gone independent, so he really needed these streaming playlists. He had just had quarantine radio. It's as if the dude was about to take off into stardom as an independent
And right
artist.
when it happened,
and then this whole thing
bullshit
happened. No, I don't
happened.
think it's some conspiracy that labels are trying to stop him.
Yes,
I just think
is.
it was convenient for them that this happened. So he gets set back terribly, so badly, and even more so in the fact that he's releasing the greatest music he's released in his entire
Going
career,
crazy,
and it
dummy.
can't even touch the numbers he was once doing because of the lack of playlisting and push and being blackballed by the industry. People didn't want to work with him or even touch him with a 10-foot pole for
Damn.
almost a year, at least 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
And then allegedly Megan Thee Stallion was telling people, hey, if you work with him, you're
I
not
know you
allowed to
acted
work
in
with
something
me. And
with
she
him,
was
though,
really
but
hot at
you
that
did.
time. So it's hard for him to not care or
I think
people to
Kevin
not
Gates
care when
did one
someone's
too,
getting
so.
thrown under the bus and another person's being lifted to the heights of their career because of this situation. That's why I think it's so important, because people will and should be held accountable and pretty much forced to apologize
Damn, like
for
two
having
different
taken a
people, man.
stand so soon
I ain't gonna
if
kiss the cat.
what comes out in court tells a different story than
The
what
fuck?
we've been presented by mainstream media outlets. I think Megan Thee Stallion has performed poorly as a victim. I think she should have done a way better
Yeah,
job.
you
like
come out
her
the bed with the
twerking
just
and
acting
doing
all
all of
you
that
tough
like
and you
very
got
soon
shot,
after.
bitch. What the
It
fuck
made
are you
people
talking
believe
about?
her less. Does that mean
Your
it
dumb
didn't
ass.
happen to her? Absolutely not. I wouldn't say that. And I've said it multiple times already. If Tory Lanez actually did this, then he deserves the consequences that come to him. It's just mind-boggling to me that he would be so adamant and confident to not only release that Daystar album, but to be out here pretending like, yo, everything that y'all are talking about, it's fake for it
never
to be
know.
real.
We would
You know
never-
what I
we-
mean?
none of
For
us
someone
was
to
in
be
the
this
car, so
overly
we
confident, they've either got to be
we would
nuts
never know,
or they've
bro,
got to be
Rich, to be
so
honest.
confident that the truth, when it comes out, will be in their favor. So it's either you believe it or you don't. We're going to
happens for
see.
Megan,
This is
it's
probably going to drag
over.
on for a very long
Like,
time.
they
Because I
better
think
go
Akademiks has
crazy.
said that Tory's lawyers asked for more time because they wanted to hire a detective to go through the messages between Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion to either give context, because they're obviously going to try to present those messages as him admitting guilt
Bruh,
for the crime.
as long
When
as
Tory
we
Lanez
know
says that wasn't
what
what
the
he
fuck
admitted guilt
happened,
for.
they get down
We
to
don't
nitty
know,
gritty.
but that's what he's saying. But let me know what y'all think about this in the
text
comments.
message won't mean a
Like and subscribe and
damn
hit the
thing.
notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.
Hey man, say man, that litty ass video, man. Hey, DJ Akademiks be going dummy on these people, bruh. Megan Thee Stallion, your duck ass, bring your duck ass here. She had to go. She had to go. But hope you nigga like that video, man. We out this bitch, man. Straight hood Northside shit, man. Deuces, man. Pick who y'all think gonna win in the comments, man. Out this bitch. Gang. I wish we could stick together, but you know how that goes. Deuces.
Hey, Dad, you know that when we link up, dog, this shit be legendary. Even though this is instrumental, you the engineer on it, so Kodak everywhere.